Hello, hi. So, this is a video where I'll just explain that a simple design process that actually ships. So every company says that they follow a design process, right? But when you realize there is no perfect design process, um, like every company is different, and it depends on the leadership structure, plus the design values, plus how what are the priorities right now as a company. So there is no particular design process, or like something which every company is following right now, which can be like a hard set rule that okay, this is a design process which you guys uh, need to follow as designers. So I am basically going to talk about like what is a simple design process that actually ships. So first of all, there is no universal rule book for design. As I told, it depends on the company, the culture, the team, plus your personal way of working. So uh saying that, right? So what do you think a design process can help you, right? What is the design process that can actually help designers and that actually works, right? So this is an assumption that we are working on an existing product. We are basically adding feature, or we are updating a feature, or we are doing a new feature from scratch, right? So this is something which I follow, and you can also I'll link the Medium article down below so that you can go and see as well. um so what I follow is basically research, align with PM, draft fast, refine, uh, handover, QA check. So this is the system which I follow. The assumption here is that the product already exists. You're not creating something from scratch, not like a new product. It's existing product. Plus, you are maybe adding features, or like you are improving the existing ones. um yeah, and this is a typical structure where a PM is there, a designer is there, developer is involved, right? So let's say that a PM comes to you and they're like, hey, this is the problem, can you work on it? So what do we usually do? Our main thing is that we kind of like, when the PM is explaining the problem, we are like, okay, what can be the solution? What is the first thing comes in your mind? And maybe you're like, okay, this is okay, this is something what I can do. I'm not saying most of the designers do that, but like we have that kind of, because we have worked in projects, we know how things work. So our mind works in a manner that we tend to think, okay, how this can be solved, like what is the quickest thought. um but no, we don't have to do that, and that's something what we have to fight, that okay, we should not do that. So let's start with step number 1, which is sit with the problem, right? Now, as you sit with your friends, hang out, the problem what you get, I feel you need to sit with it. So before designing, you have to sit with the problem. That's step number 1. You have to start with secondary research, understand what the issue is really, what is the current experience like. Take screenshots, paste it in your FigJam, Figma, wherever you feel comfortable. um Try to understand what are you trying to achieve, like why it matters. I guess a very good example is the 5 Ws. What is the problem? Why is the problem existing? Who are we solving for? When will this problem occur? Where will you use it? Right? So this is one of the approaches what we as designers take. um, and do the competitive research if required, if it gives you perspective, right? That okay, what is my goal here, right? So sometimes in an existing product, it can have modules where you don't actually know that. Basically, for example, there is an existing product, it has like 5 different modules. um which is together called a product, right? But you are not aware, maybe there is one designer which is for a module, and then you're not aware that okay, what is the module about. So get in touch with the designer, get to understand that what is the module about, if it requires you understanding the other module as well. So you need to be well aware what is your problem existing of, right? And then when you understand the problem, the module, and whatever outcome you want to achieve, then I guess the second step which comes in is a call with your PM, right? What you do is that you write down your assumptions, right? uh, so as designers we have a lot of biases, we have a lot of assumptions, we just think that this works in this manner. So we have a lot of assumption which we think okay is correct and everything. So what do you do is that you write down those assumptions in your FigJam, in your Figma, wherever you feel comfortable, and you just write down all the assumptions. If you have like um questions, right, you have questions, you write that as well down. And then you have a set, uh like on your Figma, that okay, these are my assumptions about this problem, this is what we are trying to achieve, this is my question for the PM. And when that call happens, you go through those assumptions, you make sure that the PM and you are aligned in the same space, uh, so that there is no confusion which is ahead, right? This is the stage what we want to actually work things out, right? We don't want rework, we don't want to get into that position that we have designed everything and we have got to the PM and PM is like, this is not what I wanted to do, this is not something which aligns with the problem, this is not something I was imagining, right? We don't want those questions to come up. So what we'll do as designers is that write those assumptions, get it cleared by the PM that okay, this is what we are trying to achieve, so that you and the PM is on the same page, right? So going forward, so that is done, right? You have talked down the obvious, you have your questions which is answered, now you and the PM is on the same page, and now we'll go to step 3. So what is the step 3? Okay, it is you have to start designing, right? That's what designers are for. We are here to design, so we'll go ahead. Every designer has their own kind of starting the design phase. They actually maybe they go through wireframes, making wireframes, rough layouts. Like everybody has their own own set of ways of like handling it, right? um so that's what you do. What you do is that you um lay it out, you start designing. uh, this is a stage where you don't have to detail things out. For example, if there's a delete flow, right, and it's like you click on delete, then there is this pop-up opening saying that okay, are you sure you want to delete this? This can be reworked or something like that. And there's this cancel, there is this whole pop-up, then there is this a toast message saying that okay, it has been deleted. So we don't want to detail it out, right? we want a we want a design first draft where you have your designs in place which shows that how you're trying to solve that problem. And that is the phase we want to stop at. Like, this is the first draft, you have that in place, you have done the whole gist of like how do you want to solve the problem. Now what we'll do is that we'll set up another call, right? You set up another call with your PM, you make them go through the design, you see what is their feedback. You don't detail it out in the whole fashion that everything is done. No, we want it as a first draft. Now when the PM sees your design, if they align with what you're thinking, then well and good. You and the PM again should be on the same page. Now it's a good opportunity, if it's a yes, right? Now it's a good opportunity, now you go through the whole thing of detailing the whole thing out, with every screen which is required, with every edge cases which is required, with every notes what a deaf person will require from your design is required. So this is a phase where you actually detail the whole thing out, and yeah, you detail the whole thing out and you have your whole set of designs which is ready, right? Now the fifth step is basically where you share it with the broader team, right? You have a lot of stakeholders, you have maybe different teams which is involved in your design, so you share it all across. It can be a meeting which is set up if the person understands what you're trying to solve and they know a bit of context. You can share links. uh, I guess every company has their own set of like how they move forward. But yeah, this is a place where you actually share it with the broader team because everybody should be aware of what you're designing. It should not be like, okay, this when was this done, right? So that's the fifth step, right? Then we come down to fifth, the step six. It's where it's a handover phase, right? Now, now when you share it with the broader team, everybody is aligned. If there are feedbacks, you actually work on them. uh, if not, you go ahead with the step six, which is the developer handover, right? And what do you do in this, right? uh, so in this is basically you set up a call with your dev person, and walk them through the whole design. It is good to have QAs in this session if your company follows the same. My company does, and like it's good to have QA so that they know, okay, what design was made and what's being developed in future. This phase you can actually record the session so that everybody doesn't remember your designs like by heart, like how you do. I feel as designers also, when we come back to our designs like after a month, we forget, okay, why did we do this particular thing, right? So what do we do is that we record the session, we walk them over the whole design, and your the dev notes will come into picture where you have actually written that, okay, um this is the interaction which I was thinking. This is something which is not on the design, but like this is something which I want. This is something you should take care of. This is for the edge case. Everything which is placed on your design on your Figma, you just walk them through the whole thing, right? uh Here you can ask feedbacks, you can ask doubts, um you can try to make them come to your page. You can try to basically say that, okay, I'm sharing the link, go over through it like in your own time. Come back to me if you have any questions, because sometimes when the project is like too big and you just try to explain somebody's mind is somewhere, and if they're zoning out or stuff like that, they are not like fully aware. So if they have their own time and they can come and basically see it again, and if they have any questions they can get back to you. So this is basically where you do this, which is step 6, which is the developer handover. Then we come to the step 7. Step 7 is basically reviewing, right? You have done your work, you have done your research, you have done your design, you have done the whole process, which is completely amazing, right? But now is the most important part, which is reviewing your work, right? So when it goes to the staging link, and now your dev person comes to you and says that, okay, uh please review it, right? So now is the most important time, because what you have thought of, it should be in the staging link, right? So now what you do is basically open up your Figma, open up the production, and maybe if you have two screens, well and good, you put one screen here, you put one screen there. But if you don't have, like, just try to split screens and just see, okay, what you have made and what is developed. And now is the important part of like taking screenshots and seeing, okay, how it's different. If the font is different, font weight is different, if the font size is different, what you have done, if the size of the modal is different, everything whatever you feel is not uh according to your design. It's simple as like the picture in the newspaper where you have like differences and you have to mark the differences. It's like that. So that you take what is in your design, what is in the developer, and just try to see which places is not according to your design, and you put it down. Like you put it down in pointers. Every company has their own way of doing it. I personally do it on FigJam, where I put in screenshots plus I put in like context. Okay, what is does it mean, that how it's different, so that the developer knows. And it can also have a column which says solved, not solved, so that in future you know what is solved and what is not solved, and what is going to the next phase, right? So that that makes you aware that okay, what is there, right? So this is a very important part in the process, which makes your design go as exactly like how you've designed it, and not with like, not which is totally different what what you had imagined, right? uh yeah, so this is my 7 step process, which you can easily follow in your day to day like design problems which comes to your company. And yeah, as a final thoughts, what is there is that, it actually matters to have alignment and clarity. Like, fancy frameworks can be everywhere, where we can be like, okay, this is something what we should do, this is what we should do. Like there are many frameworks what company follows, but I feel what frameworks goes with your company and with your culture of the company, culture of your product team, that actually matters. uh, so yeah, so this I guess alignment and clarity are the two things what you want with your PM, with your developer, so that everything is smooth. Everyone should be part of the process, and nobody should be like, okay, my thing is not being heard. That makes everyone put thoughts in on your design, so that you make a better design, right? So yeah, thank you for watching. Yeah, and if you have any feedback, anything what you guys follow in your company which is much better than this, let me know. Thank you so much.